Hollywood has seen its fair share of tragedies, but few mysteries have left so many unanswered questions. On February 26, 2025, legendary actor Gene Hackman, 95, and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, 65, were found dead in their Santa Fe home, alongside one of their beloved dogs. It started with a routine maintenance check. When security entered the residence, they found Hackman and Arakawa lying motionless in separate rooms. At first, there were no signs of foul play, no forced entry, no visible injuries. But as forensic pathologists dug deeper, disturbing details emerged. Toxicology reports revealed both had tested positive for carbon monoxide. Yet, rather than providing answers, this only deepened the mystery. When the maintenance worker stepped inside, an eerie silence filled the home, once a warm retreat for the Oscar-winning actor, now frozen in time. Hackman was found in the mudroom, his walking cane and sunglasses resting nearby, as if he had just set them down. There were no signs of a struggle, just the sudden, silent collapse of a Hollywood icon. In another part of the house, authorities found Betsy Arakawa's body on the bathroom floor near a space heater. A prescription bottle lay open on the counter, pills scattered around it. Was she reaching for medication in a moment of crisis? And then came an even more chilling discovery. A German shepherd, dead inside a closet just feet from Arakawa. Two of the couple's other dogs had survived. But why had this one perished? Had it been locked away in panic? Or was there something more sinister at play? The absence of an emergency call raised even more questions. Why hadn't help been sought? Did Arakawa collapse before she could react? Or was there another force at work? Despite no obvious signs of foul play, investigators classified the case as suspicious, a word that sent speculation spiraling. With more questions than answers, Hollywood and Hackman's fans are left wondering, what really happened inside that house? While Hackman's pacemaker provided a definitive clue about when his heart stopped, there was no such forensic marker to indicate the exact moment Arakawa took her final breath. Her body was found in the bathroom, separate from her husband's, lying near a space heater. A prescription pill bottle, its cap removed, had spilled its contents onto the bathroom countertop. The presence of medication and the positioning of her body led to a troubling question. Had she died while trying to save her husband? Or had something else happened that medical examiners had yet to uncover? Investigators theorized that Arakawa may have discovered Hackman collapsed in the mudroom and, in a state of panic, rushed to get his medication. The fact that blood pressure pills were found nearby suggested she may have been searching for something to help him, possibly unaware that his pacemaker had already failed. If she had moved too quickly, lost her balance, and fallen, she could have sustained a fatal internal injury, one that wouldn't necessarily leave visible signs of trauma. Forensic pathologist Dr. Michael Bain suggested that a sudden fall, especially if she struck her head, could have led to an undetected brain hemorrhage. Without immediate medical attention, she might have succumbed to her injuries hours or even days later. However, another disturbing theory emerged from the forensic reports, one that suggested her death may have been linked to extreme emotional distress. In cases where a person experiences intense grief or panic, the body can react unpredictably. The stress of discovering her husband lifeless on the floor could have triggered a cardiac event of her own, particularly if she had an undiagnosed heart condition. At 65, she was considerably younger than Hackman, but heart issues are not always visible until a crisis occurs. Sudden cardiac arrest can be triggered by shock, and in a moment of overwhelming distress, her body may have simply shut down. The presence of medication near her body could indicate that she had attempted to take something for herself, perhaps to calm down before collapsing. What remains perplexing is the timeline. Hackman's pacemaker indicates he likely died on February 17th, but forensic findings were unable to confirm exactly when Arakawa passed. If she had been alive for hours or even days after her husband's death, why had no one heard from her? There were no signs of an attempted emergency call, no messages left for family or friends. The home, according to authorities, showed no sign of forced entry or foul play. Yet her body, like Hackman's, had gone unnoticed for over a week. The lack of an official autopsy report left speculation swirling. Had she succumbed within minutes of finding her husband? Had she lingered for days, alone and without resources, too overwhelmed to seek help? Toxicology reports are still pending, and until the results are released, the precise cause of her death remains unknown. While Hackman's forensic evidence points to cardiac arrest, Arakawa's case was far less clear, leaving investigators with more questions than answers. However, the true cause of death won't be known until the full autopsy report is released. For now, we only have preliminary reports pointing to disturbing details that leave more questions than answers. The dog's death, a clue or a coincidence? One of the most critical pieces of evidence in Gene Hackman's death didn't come from the scene. It came from within his own body. His pacemaker, a device meant to regulate his heartbeat, became an unwitting witness to his final moments. While the home offered little forensic evidence, the pacemaker told a different story, one that only made the case more unsettling. Authorities quickly accessed the device's records and uncovered a chilling revelation. Its last recorded event was on February 17th, a full 9 days before Hackman's body was found. Unlike scattered pills or a deceased pet, clues that could be interpreted in multiple ways, the pacemaker's data was precise, irrefutable, and impossible to manipulate. It indicated a sudden cardiac event, suggesting Hackman's heart had gone into fatal arrhythmia, stopping abruptly. But that only raised more questions. If his death was sudden, why was no call for help made? Why had his wife, found in another room, also perished without seeking assistance? Dr. Michael Bain, a forensic pathologist, explained that pacemakers record every abnormal fluctuation in heart rhythm, and Hackman's final entry pointed to a rapid and fatal collapse. Investigators examined the scene, the mudroom where Hackman's body lay. His cane and sunglasses rested nearby, undisturbed. It was as if he had set them down only moments before losing consciousness. If he had sensed something was wrong, had he tried to reach for support, only to collapse before he could act? A medical emergency can be swift and merciless, but given Hackman's age and history of heart disease, why had no one been prepared for such a moment? Some theorize that his pacemaker may have struggled to regulate his heartbeat, leaving him in distress for several minutes before finally shutting down. Had he tried to call out for help, only for his voice to go unheard in the vast emptiness of his Santa Fe home? Had Arakawa been elsewhere, unaware until it was too late? What remained disturbing was the eerie silence that followed. Hackman's pacemaker confirmed the exact moment of his death, yet no emergency response was ever triggered. Did Arakawa find him and try to intervene? Or had she been completely unaware for hours or even days before meeting her own fate? The forensic evidence pinpointed Hackman's death with precision, but it left a void in the story, one that could only be filled by a full autopsy report. And if his passing was a mystery, the circumstances surrounding Betsy Arakawa's death only deepened the intrigue.